What champion was it again? Oh yeah, the Lizardmen Faction.
I don't know.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We got the one and only Deadwood Jedi on this channel for the first... No, it's not the first time, but as a solo collab, I guess it is technically the first time, right?
I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, it's great to have you on, Deadwood. How's it going?
It's going great. I'm happy to be here. It's really a pleasure. I don't think we've had the opportunity to work like this before, so I'm excited. This should be fun. I get to see the arena master in his original environment here. Should be exciting.
No. Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about there's a bunch of new champions that came out, or I guess by the time you guys watch this video, that did come out, that got released, and we're gonna be talking about a specific champion. But we do talk about a lot of the champions that came out today on Deadwood's channel. So if you guys want to hop over to his channel, I have his link in the description and the comment section down below. So make sure to subscribe to him, make sure to check him out. He's an awesome guy, one of the nicest dudes in Raid Shadow Legends community, definitely. So make sure to show him a lot of love and support. Yeah, man. Are you ready?
Thank you. I'm as ready as I'll ever be, which is probably not ready enough. But yeah, let's go for it. Let's see what we can't do.
All right, so let's talk about the new champion, the new mythic champion that came out. Hierophant, is it Hierophant or Hierophant, right? Lazarius. How would you say his name? Or her name? Is it
I'd say, I think it's a dude. I'd say
Okay.
Hierophant.
Hierophant?
Hierophant? I would say, I think both are acceptable, right?
Yeah.
I think both are good.
I guess depends who you're asking, but I think they both work. Hierophant, Lazarius. So yeah, really cool looking champion. It is part of the Lizardmen Faction, mythical, blue affinity, right? Magic affinity, and again, looks really cool. What are your thoughts on this design? How it looks and everything?
Yeah, I love the design. I mean, absolutely. I think it's freaking killer. Honestly, one of my favorite looking champions at the moment. So I'm big fan of that part of him. But yeah, I think it looks great. Definitely somebody that I would be excited to pull. I'd be like really pretty stoked about that, honestly, and hopefully that'll happen at some point. I don't know, but that'd be really great if that did.
Bless the Deadwood Jedi's account.
Yeah.
That's usually what I say.
Oh God, we're not going to showcase that thing. But yeah, definitely looks cool. I think it's like a really cool champion. And one of the things I love about these mythical champions is like they all bring a lot of different options as far as the style of champion, the stuff they can do for you. And I think that's definitely a big. I think that's just a huge like bonus as far as like what can we do with these guys, and having those options I think is such a cool thing to be able to bring to the table. So I'm definitely interested to see how this guy rates, and I'm really interested to see you put him through his paces, because I feel like you have a pretty good handle on what's effective and what's not in this game, and I'd be real excited to see how it turns out once we jump in.
Yeah, so I mean, as you guys know, mythical champions have two different forms, and like you said, mythical champions, they have so much in their kit. It's literally like almost 10 different abilities, right, in a sense.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on. So I guess let's just start off with the first form here. So as in his base form, he has A1, attacks one enemy, places a shield buff on the most injured ally for 2 turns. The value of the shield is proportional to this champion's attack. It's, I mean, nothing too crazy, but placing a shield, I guess that's kind of similar to, I guess, Duchess's A1, I guess, kind of. But yeah, so onto the A2 here. Attacks all enemies. Before attacking, places a block debuff buff on all allies for 2 turns, which is great. Also decrease the duration of all buffs on all enemies by 2 turns, which is great too, because with this, you won't be sheeped by this ability here, because decreasing the duration of buffs, it kind of bypasses the sheep, right? So you won't get sheeped. But after that, you attacking, you're going to place a block bust debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. In that case, you will get sheeped. You're placing a debuff on the enemy, so it's pretty good in general, just for the block debuffs, like placing on your allies and then decreasing the enemy's buffs. But onto the A3 here, because he's got a lot more juicy stuff to talk about. Onto his A3.
It's kind of a win some, lose some sort of thing there with that, right? Like, yeah, okay, we're gonna get some, lose some. That's okay.
Yeah, so onto the A3, it's very similar to like a Lysander's effect or even like the Deacon, right? With the fill turn meters by 20% of all allies, and also decrease the turn meters of all enemies by 20%. So you have a bit of CC going on as well, along with filling the turn meters of your team. And on top of that, you can place an increased attack buff and a 25% strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns, which is pretty solid, right? I mean, you get more buffs going, you get more attack going. For the passive, at the start of the champion's turn, place the perfect veil buff and a 50% increased accuracy buff on them for 2 turns. And this is the passive effect. Also, this champion receives 3% less damage for every 750 attack they have, stacks up to 30%. And for the active effect, I find this really interesting here. At the end of the champion's turn, revives a random ally with 50% HP and 50% turn meter. Also places a perfect Bale buff on the revived ally for 2 turns, and this is on a 3-turn cooldown. So couple this with, I mean, just in arena, I think he's going to be really fun. But if you want to use him as a support champion, even he's going to be pretty solid as well, along with the A2 and A3 that he has. But he also has that gives it all ally speed of 25%, which is huge, and he's got a base speed of 115 as well. Look at that.
Yeah, it's really fast. It's really fast. I mean, I think the basic thing is this guy has so many abilities within just his first form, right? So he can really fill a multitude of roles for you, right? His shield on that A1 is procced off of his attack, so building with attack is kind of the idea here. The turn meter reduction stuff is such a massive part of his ability, you know, and much like all these mythical champions, they have decreased resistance in their kit.
Yeah,
which is just such a huge thing as far as like, well, how do I build them out? What am I going to use them for? And it's like, oh, all right, right there. That made it a lot easier, like trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing with them. So I always think that's a really big bonus there as well. So I mean, he's just really, I think, really all around kind of nice champion. And this first form obviously seems more support, right? Like,
definitely.
What are we doing? We're going to be taking down the enemy, stripping their buffs, protecting ourselves, blocking them from getting new buffs, increasing our speed, buffing ourselves up again, you know. And his passive, he gets increased accuracy to start. So it's like, you know, how much accuracy do you even need to build on him? I don't know that that's something you need to focus on. Obviously, you know, if you want to use him as a buff strip kind of champion, debuffer, you're going to need, for his A2, you'll need to put some, but I don't know that you even need to really focus on that at all. And definitely as a secondary thing, because he gets the increased accuracy right off the jump, which is kind of insane, really, if you think about it, right? Like, that's just kind of a massive start to things.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
like, even with the block bust here, I guess if you want to utilize that for like Hydra boss, that could be another area you can use him as well, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much the support side of this. But the juicy part is also going to be the second form. I think that's where it gets a little more interesting. And
I know this is where your favorite part of him is the second form.
So let's go over to I'll call this the damage side. So this is where he actually turns into a massive damage dealer. Now, you notice he has a boost of a lot more, I think in his base form. Yeah, in his base form, he has 1,233 attack. But when he goes to the second form, he gets additional attack here of 1,597, which is pretty solid. And for his A1, he has attacks one enemy 2 times. The first hit increases this champion's attack by 3%, stacks up to 30%. The second hit decreases the 3% of the target's attack or defense, or destroys 3% of the target's max HP, depending on their type, stacks up to 30%. This is a mouthful, but this effect does not work against support type champions, which is very unique, kind of. I mean, I guess it's not really good in that sense, but I mean, it's like it's different, right? Because it doesn't work against support champions, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
This is not like the bulk of his kit here. We're going to get to the juicier parts. So now we're getting a little bit more interesting. Attacks all enemies, ignores shield, and increased defense buffs. Before attacking, it removes all debuffs from this champion. It increases this champion's attack damage by 15% for each debuff removed. Now, there's not really instances where I would utilize this first part here, because I mean, I would normally have him protected anyway, so he wouldn't get debuffed. But the second part here, which is really interesting, is going to be if no debuffs were removed from this champion, increase this attack's damage by 15% for each alive ally instead. So in arena...
15, not 50, right?
15. So 15% for each ally alive ally instead. So you have in arena, you're gonna have 3 other champions, right? So that's a lot of damage increase. So if you wanna, I guess, like utilize them in other areas like dungeons or somewhere else, you'll have additional champions alive. But in most cases, I would say in live arena or arena would be best utilized for this side of his kit here, this damage side proportion. But yeah, it's a lot of damage stacking, and we're actually gonna see the damage test a little bit later because I did test it out, and you guys will be maybe, I don't know about shocked, but you guys will see the damage anyways. And then onto the A3 here. So he has a lot going on with this kit already, with the ignore shield, ignore the increased defense. But now for his A3, attacks one enemy 2 times, will ignore ally protection, strengthen, and shield buffs, as well as 30% of the target's defense. So you're ignoring a lot more here, and you're pretty much trying to, you're going to use this to snipe one champion that you want to get rid of immediately. So the only downside to this, I would say, is he doesn't ignore stone skin. So that's where I would kind of say to myself, okay, he's not going to be as like viable for plat pushing reset, because let's say like a Georgid who has a very similar ability here, but Georgid can actually ignore the stone skin, which makes him a lot more efficient in that sense. So it's, you know, it's a little bit underwhelming in that sense, but it still hits pretty hard, and it does ignore a lot of stuff. So either way, I'm going to have to pretty much just stall for a turn so I can wait for the stone skins to, you know, go away or whatever. So that's the only downside to this. But in live arena, this is going to be an incredible champion to work with, because he has so much to, I mean, his passive we're going to get to in a moment, but he has a way to control the field like really, really well. But before attacking, he steals also 50% of the target's turn meter.
Your turn meter goes to 0 at the start of your turn. So that 50% turn meter steal will lead into your next turn.
I think you're right. Yeah, now that I think about it, I think you're right. But yeah, this effect cannot be resisted. So we'll test and see later if this is that's how it actually goes. And I think you're right though. Yeah, good call out.
Hey, you know, sometimes I have some, I'm just, you know, proficient with my reading skills, my reading comprehension these days.
Very good. All right, onto the passive here. All right, so for the passive here, at the start of the champion's turn, places a 50% increased attack buff and a 30% increased crit damage buff on them for 2 turns. And then active effect increases the cooldown of all enemy skills by 2 turns whenever the champion kills an enemy. Like, that's really, really interesting. You're pretty much, you have a Warlord built into this kit, you have a Yumiko built into this kit, as long as you can down a champion, right? And if the champion kills 2 or more enemies in a single attack, this effect will activate only once, and this effect cannot be resisted. So it's, I mean, live arena, this is just screaming live arena to me, because that's pretty, it doesn't matter how fast you kill the enemy or not in live arena, as long as you win, that's all that matters, right? But in like classic arena, it's a bit slow. Because not because of this, but because of the fact that he can't ignore the stone skin. So the fight's gonna go a little bit longer than you hope. Whereas, like I said earlier, Georgid, you can just ignore the stone skin, so it's a totally different pace. But nonetheless, it's still a pretty solid or interesting passive that we haven't really seen before, built into a passive like this, right? So yeah. So what do you think of the champion so far?
I mean, I think he's honestly amazing. Like, this is, you know, one of the reasons why we're doing this is because I looked at his kit when we first got access to some of this stuff, and I was like, Smiley, I need to get your input on this. I think this guy looks amazing. And I still think he looks amazing, right? Like, there's nothing, I mean, he's just got a really, really awesome kit, I think. And so, yeah, there's a lot of flexibility here in how you want to build them. You know, I feel like for those of you that are, you know, fighting in gold arena, even just using him as a speed lead, I think he's just going to be magnificent for you. And obviously, you know, if you want to use him as a damage dealer, as you said, boy can hit hard. You know, that lizard man really, he packs quite the bite. That was a really bad pun. But, you know, the whole idea is like the guy's good, you know. And so I feel like there's definitely a lot going on there. And so, yeah, I mean, yeah, he's cool. He's very cool, and also he looks amazing. So, like, yeah. I'm really down for this guy, right? Like, this is one of those ones. I think this is the first mythical champion where I'm like, I kind of want this one, right? Like everyone else, like they're all good, but this is the first one where I'm like, yeah, I want this one. You know, I feel like that's where I'm at.
Okay, I hope you pull him. But
thank you. Probably won't happen, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, so let's just go ahead and test out his damage then and compare him to other champions like the likes of Trunda or the likes of, you know, other hard nukers that are out there, so we can see some hard numbers like just on paper for ourselves. So let's head over to that. Alright guys, so now we have a, I mean, this is just to showcase like the damage comparison, and I'm just gonna, I guess, see how much like maximum damage I can do, and not really the most realistic setup, but with the attack up from the Arbiter, with the defense down weekend from the Lydia, you know, we got the extra passive damage there, extra passive from battle, and then we got the Trunda. So we'll just start with the Trunda just to see the damage that she puts out as a nuker, and then we'll just like, you know, try out some other champions so you can see or get an idea of what the damage would look like in comparison. So let's start with the Trunda first. Okay, it's like really laggy for some reason.
I know, a little bit lag. Sorry, everybody. I'm assuming it's my my Wi-Fi I get from McDonald's nearby. It seems to be lagging a little bit, so you know, apologies if my voice cuts out or I freeze for a second. I swear I'm here. I'm paying attention, mostly.
I think I gotta restart the game.
The game's.
It crashed.
A few moments later.
Take two. All right, we are back. All right. Hopefully no more crashing, okay? We're good, right?
It's fine. It's fine.
Right.
You need to upgrade that McDonald's Wi-Fi, bro.
All right, so we have the Arbiter with the A1, or the you know, the attack up and the filter meter. So let's just go with the other abilities here just to increase maximum damage. And we'll do the one-time speed on the Trunda. Oh, we lapped her, so. And now we'll do the nuke. So one-time speed. A lot of damage, like 320k plus 320k, right? Something like that?
Yeah.
That's
300 to 400,000 is what I saw.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Okay, so that's what
that's
we got
that's
for
on
the
one hit.
Trunda.
That's on one hit. The second hit did the same.
All right, so now let's
So gross.
let's go and see. I mean, if you guys want to see the Trunda gear I had on her, so let's just, so you guys can get an idea of what kind of gear I'm using. Oh, I can just erase it.
You know what we need? We need a compare mode, so I can look at two champions at the same time and go, who's doing what?
Yeah. So you got the Trunda at 9200 and attack, and then 326 crit damage. So there you go. All right, so I'm gonna re-gear another champion real quick.
So gross. I love it. I love it.
All right, so now we got the Baron at +4 with 4 Ascensions or 4 Awakening, and he's at similar stats here: 9300 attack, way more crit damage, 368, and yeah. So let's take him for a test drive, I guess. There we go.
Gross. You and your gross teams. It's all right. Hashtag life goals right here for me.
All right, so we did miss a defense down on one of them, unfortunately, but that's okay. So at one-time speed.
Oh no! Are you gonna kill them all? I don't know if you will.
At one-time speed, let's go with the A4 here. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, 500 to 600,000 damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of damage.
Okay. All right. It's all right. I mean, you know, I've seen better. Never seen better than that.
Alright, so we are back with another damage comparison. This one is a +2 Georgid with the 5-star Awakening Ascension, so let's go. And then after this, we'll go into Arena, and we'll just do a bunch of runs and just see, you know, how it fares with, I guess, the likes of Platinum, I guess, even though it's not really Platinum.
Yeah, it's still stronger than I can do, so... Oh, maybe I should set my defense for you specifically. See if I can't trip you up.
Yeah.
I can't trip you up. Let's go, Georgid.
Alright, so that's that one
you
time
can do both,
speed.
right? Didn't get an extra turn from the A3?
Yeah, but I kind of want to see the damage on all this right here. I guess, yeah, we could. So we'll just we'll do the first one first. It doesn't matter. Okay, 640,000. And at one-time speed with the one-time speed with the A2. This is the AOE. Oh, again, 500 to 600,000 ish around there. One of them
Yeah,
was like
that's
400
about
or
right.
something. Yeah, pretty strong. I mean, these are all very powerful nukers in the game, right? So now we can see how the other champion fares with that. So this is the last test.
Lazarius! I think that's how we have to refer to him from now on. Is every
Okay.
time we go Lazarius.
All right, guys. So we got the Hierophant Lazarius built out here. So now we can see what kind of gear he's wearing. So again, the base attack on the first form is going to be a lot lower. So once we switch to the second form, and mind you, he is not empowered. He has no... Well, he does have Ascension, but he's not empowered. So it makes a huge difference, right? But he is sitting at 8,700 attack here and 311 crit damage, which is pretty strong. Yeah.
Where'd you get the blessing for him?
So...
You just happen to find one laying around?
I had one Immortal to pop, and I was like, you know, it'd be really cool if I could get a Hierophant Lazarius so I can do a proper showcase on the test.
Oh my god! Are you serious?
I'm serious. And then I popped the Immortal, and I got this guy.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's do it.
Yeah. I wish it was like a 4-star, but I can't complain, right?
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys are wondering what masters I put on this guy, so again, I build him for a damage dealing. You can build him as a support champion if you would like to, but if you're building as a damage dealer, this is the route I would go. Down to Helm Smasher and yeah, extra damage, extra damage, extra damage, extra damage. So there you go. All right, let's go. Let's see what kind of damage he fares with. I guess comparing it with the other champions, right? So
yeah, sure.
All right,
sure.
Here we go. Do you think he's gonna put out more, equal to, or less?
I would say less. I'd imagine. I mean, your gear's ridiculous, so I'm gonna say probably in the. I'll say he'll do like one of Trenda's hits, like 300 maybe to 400k.
Okay. All right. All right, so let's go to the second form here. At 1 times speed.
Right, I forgot you have to switch.
Yeah, this is the A2. Yeah, this is the AoE. So 3, 2, 1. So not as strong as the other ones, but again, you guys have to keep in mind he's not empowered, so he's losing about 500 attack compared to the other champions. And also the crit damage he's lacking as well. So it's actually pretty strong, pretty powerful for this champion here. But we'll see more in arena, so we'll check that in a moment. But yeah,
he literally did one of Trenda's hits.
Yeah,
like 300,000 to 400,000. There's a couple interesting things though. I was thinking about looking at it. Like one, in arena you have one less ally, right? So that's one less. That's 15% less damage. Something like that. One less 15% damage boost. The other thing too is, I think with everybody else you have their like empowered, right? They have faction guardians. We don't have either of those with this guy.
You actually brought up a really good point though, because like if you're playing an arena, you're gonna have a lot less damage too, because you're losing that 15%, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I think we do have an attack boost without her, the Arbiter, that is. Does he? I think he already gives himself attack. Yeah, he does, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I guess let's test it without this, just to see like what it would do, right? Comparison. So one last test here. So this would be like, I guess, arena technically, but again, this is not really like realistic damage you'd be putting out in arena because you don't have all this boost. But
immediately gets the increased attack and the increased crit damage.
Yeah. All right. So 3, 2, 1. Oh, okay.
The numbers didn't change.
Yeah, it's still pretty strong. It did fluctuate a little bit more down, but it was still pretty strong at the top end. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, there you go.
I think that's super interesting. No, I mean, like, honestly, this just like it made me realize there's a separate part to this that I hadn't really thought of. Is like the realization you don't need to use Arbiter because he's going to increase attack himself.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously Alvisher's fast and has a great aura, but he brings a really strong aura, so it enables some other options there, right? Like I always want to use Lady Kimmy because of the increased accuracy. I feel like it's such a great bonus, but she doesn't have the aura to go with it. But because he increases attacks himself, you don't need Arbiter. Just opens up options.
Definitely. I guess we'll just hit some of these people here. Like for this champion, the one bad thing I would say besides not being able to ignore Stone Skin is that he's blue affinity. So if you're playing against like a bunch, like for instance, like this team down here, it's not going to be pretty because it's too. I mean, Harima is good luck with that one, right? But let's just try these teams out, I guess. So there's a Candrophant and a Ultimate Death Knight here, so not ideal for this kind of composition, especially with him as a damage dealer, because a lot of weak hits can happen here. But let's just try it out. So we'll lock them out, and well, I mean, we could try to down one of them right now, or we could try to go for him. Alright, so I can just protect her. Now, here, I could stall, or I can just go for the nuke. Because, like, the Mithrala didn't go yet, so if it's wearing the reaction set, I'm not going to be able to, I mean, I could not get as much damage there, but I guess we could just go for it. Or we could stall one turn, actually, because I want to see, like, what the damage would actually look like without the procs of everything else. So let's just chill one turn. That's unfortunate about this, because, again, I can't ignore Stone Skin. And we'll just chill.
God, that's totally the other factor I hadn't even thought of. The multiple forms really does play into allowing you to stall.
Yeah.
You have an extra support until you're ready to do damage.
Yeah, and that's why
that's kind of cool.
That's why I think. I should have tagged him for live arena. He just has so many options he can go to. That's why I think he's. In that sense, I think he's really fascinating as well. Okay, so we went to the second form here. So, again, I can't really do much about this guy, but I could try to nuke down these. If I weak hit here, that's going to suck, but at 1 times speed, let's just see what happens. Again, I have no defense down here, no weaken. All I have is attack up with the crit damage up, and that's basically it. Okay, 159 damage there, and we weren't able to... We got a weak land. Yeah, weak land there, so that's unfortunate.
It's pretty solid still.
Yeah, pretty solid. I do want to see what else he can do with the other teams here. So that Ultimate Death Knight's going to stick for a while, but... Okay, we'll just let it auto here. Okay, so now, actually, I can try to wipe it out. But again, it's bad affinity. Okay, I mean, now surely it'll die now. But let's go ahead and do this at 1 time speed with the A3. Okay, there you go. Pretty solid. Now, let's try Murder Inc.'s team here. So he's got the Uko here, along with the... Okay, so this should be interesting. So let's say they do happen to get a turn in here with the Warlord. Then, and if we get locked out, we can still go to the second form. So that's kind of interesting too, right?
It's a really good point.
That's one thing I really like about these mythical champions. If you get locked out by a Warlord or a Yumiko, then you can still go to the second form. That's why champions like the mythical champion Crixie is so insane, because she can get locked out on the first go around. She can go to the second form, and then she can reset everyone's ability. So you're good to go. We could go for let's just protect her for now.
This actually works out really nicely when you're trying to use this champion as a damage dealer too.
Yeah.
Because like you don't want the first form. You want that second form anyway.
Oh, this is a nightmare.
And it's not really working really well right now.
No, this is bad. So he got slept on the first go around, so I wasn't able to utilize him there, and he got stunned too here, so that's really, really bad. So the one thing that screwed us here is the Uko, because he stole everything off of our guy, so he had nothing up available. So this might be a loss. But he's got to wake up. Come on, wake up, buddy.
Nice.
I can't really do much. Yeah. Okay, so we got locked out, which is what I was mentioning earlier. But yeah, this is looking bad. Yeah. This
no, you're fine. You're doing great.
This is looking really bad. Let's see what happens. Oh, that Uko is just destroying us right now. Okay, this is a dud. If that Uko didn't steal everything, I think we would have been okay. So let's try this again.
Yeah, that's not a winner. That's not a winner at all.
That's really bad. All right, we'll run it again. I won't take a loss here. Okay. So we're fine.
Okay,
we're good. We're good. Okay, we didn't get stripped, so we're okay now. Okay, let's get rid of them for now.
Oof.
Okay, we're good. Okay, so here I could actually go for the nuke.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I can kill the Warlord here. Okay, we'll just try it. Let's just see what happens. So 3, 2, 1. There we go.
Alright.
There we go. Just like that.
Alright.
So
That's not
Uko
too
is
shabby.
always a gamble. It's rough. Alright, who else looks interesting here?
I mean,
So-
you know the real test.
The real test? Oh man,
Yeah.
that's not gonna work here against a team like that. Oh wait, did you make a
No,
defense team?
Yeah,
you
I
make
did.
a
Of course,
defense? You
it did. That's the real test.
All right, we'll look for it.
I mean, you're using Umeko, so I'm probably gonna lose because of that. I mean, that's probably not the only reason, but that definitely would be a reason.
Where are you at? There you are. Oh, okay, I see you.
Jed with Deadeye.
Okay, all right, let's go. The one and only,
Let's go.
guys. I see.
Yeah, that part sucks. That's not my favorite part.
I'm gonna have to chill for a turn. Yeah, we'll just chill for a turn.
Can't believe you reset all my skills. What a jerk. What a jerk, right, guys? Get in the comments. Let them know. What a jerk.
So I need one more turn here. I feel Terminator here.
Why would he do that?
Should be good. Reaction still on there. Oh yeah, because she didn't get a turn yet. I want to chill for one more turn here. I can't use anything yet. I could just go into the other form for now though. Yeah, because you don't have any lockouts, we're good. So I could try to target somebody and just take him out so he can res. Oof.
Pretty good.
So he has reaction still. That's kind of bad. Should we just go for it and see what happens? We'll just go
it's up
for
to
it.
you.
All right, here we go. 3,
Sure.
2, 1. Oh, close.
Jesus
But he's still
God.
locked out. So we got the kill on one, and everybody else got locked out because of his passive ability, which is great for us, right? We're looking pretty, guys.
Why even have Umeko on the team at this point? Dirty.
Oh man.
It's like, give me a chance.
Okay, let's just get rid of him now. All right, so now it's pretty much just it's over.
Yeah. Gross. Jeez, they're like just destroying the stone skin even. Poor
Oof.
crit.
There you go.
God.
Yeah.
That hurt. That hurts.
That was an interesting defense though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't need your pity. That's fine.
I mean, should we showcase another battle here? I guess maybe MTG. Oh, he's
One day
running
I'll have a
the.
Duchess. One day I'll
Ooh.
have a Duchess, and then I'll give you a real challenge.
He's playing the. All right, Mr. MTG. You still don't have a Duchess?
No.
Oh,
No
so
Farrakhan the Fat, no Duchess.
what would you say is your most wanted champion then?
Farrakhan the Fat and Duchess? I mean,
Okay. I mean the Farrakhan we knew, right? Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
What?
That was a mistake. Yeah, the Farrakhan I knew.
Yeah. Yeah, Duchess is probably the most wanted. Like, it just so useful in so many areas. I'll be honestly, the champion I would want the most is that the Void Legendary with the max HP and the buff extension. I can't remember his name, but that guy looks the automaton looking guy. He looks amazing.
The max HP with the damage?
Yeah.
Which one is that?
He's oh gosh, what is he? I don't even remember anymore. He's honestly, I have no idea what faction he's in either.
One time speed.
I'll figure it out. I'll tell you.
180k
God,
each.
that dude just slaps.
But they were squishy. But yeah, he's pretty strong. But again, guys, he's not empowered. He doesn't have the full ascension per se. But overall, I think he's a pretty cool champion. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on in his kit, and I think more so than arena. Like, I know I was showcasing arena just now, but I just wanted to, I give it, I guess, situation where I could just use him in. But I think he's gonna be way more viable in live arena, because there you don't have to care about like how much time is. I mean you do have to beat a clock, but you can stall a lot longer than like in regular arena, because in plat arena you want to try to finish matches as quick as possible. But clearly, if I can't bypass a stone skin like a Georgid can, right, with a similar ability with the A3, it's gonna be a stall, a little bit of a stall there we have to do. So live arena, I think he's gonna be a beast. But overall, what are your impressions?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're 100% right. I think this is one of the few times that you can really see the difference between a live arena champ and a classic arena champ. And one of the things I actually like about him the most for live arena is the idea that you can build him in multiple different ways. And so he actually provides some utility for your team and can really throw off an enemy. Because I definitely feel like, obviously the dude slaps, right? He hits hard, right? That's great.
Yeah.
But in a lot of ways, I think you can build him. I think you could easily build him as a speed champion for you, right? With the turn meter boost. And the other thing that I think is actually really interesting is, like, it's not like, let's say you wanted to build him as a damage dealer, but maybe have a little flexibility with him. It's not like he has to be super fast. The way the meta is right now, everybody's real slow anyway. You could probably build him with 220, 230 speed, and have him be your second booster. Second damage dealer, right?
Because of his A2 on his first form?
Because of his A2 on that first form, right? So let's say you build him as a second, not just his A2, his A3, but his A2 as well. Like, he really provides a lot of flexibility here. Like, here's a great way to look at it, right? One of the things I've been doing a lot is running with the Tiger, right? He gives an AoE decreased defense and AoE stun. I love this skill. Love his skill. And he works great for live arena because I build him for damage, but I also have him going about 240 speed. People don't necessarily expect that. So I can put him in with my speed teams. As long as I'm going first, he can come in. And if the buffs aren't there, if I can strip him, I can go in and stun the enemy and give my damage dealer some time to get around and take his turn. When you have someone like Hierophant coming in, he can be that secondary, speed champ, or that secondary damage dealer, or even that buff strip champion. So you can build him at, say, 240 speed, right? Still not at the kind of damage you're putting on here. He won't be your single nuker, right? But what he could do is he could set up a champ like that, where all of a sudden now you're being able to, what's his name? I should figure out what his name is. I'm not just going that champ. Ragash, right? So you can build him up to set up somebody like Ragash. Ragash comes in, maybe doesn't kill them, but puts them into a very poor state, also CCing them, allowing Hierophant to come back around and finish the job in his other form. I feel like that's kind of an option you have there. And, when you're constantly being, the other thing too is, like, with so many of these teams, it's like you're always selecting 2 damage dealers and one of them's getting taken out by the enemy. Well, if that's the case, you can have Hierophant be your second damage dealer. And then if they decide to take out a support champion, you still have 3 support champions too. It's not like you're really, SOL one or the other. So you can run, a variety of different ways, I guess is the point. You can run a variety of different ways of teams. And because Hierophant can fill so many different roles, he really brings you a lot of balance to those live arena squads that you're trying to bring out there. I don't know. You know, I'm no pro at this, but for like me in my head, you know, I feel like that flexibility, not allowing your enemy to know exactly what you're doing, that's really the big advantage that he brings. And the fact that he hits hard is kind of icing on the cake of it, where it's like, okay, no, he's a legitimate damage dealer. But he also, you know, I can build him in a variety of different ways to have a variety of different roles, and you can kind of hit that middle road with him and be really effective, I think.
Yeah, he's really versatile. Like in his second form, he's got a really strong base attack, and then his first form, he's got an insane speed base.
Dude, 115?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Really, really good.
I mean, yeah, and he's got that aura too. So like, even if you don't bring in, you know, like I was saying earlier, you know, like maybe you don't want to run an Arbiter, maybe you run a, Lady Kimmy or something, would work great. Necmo, you know, Thar. There's a better aura than Necmo, right? So I mean, like, super effective, I think. Or Lysandra, right? This is slightly better, but it's still better than like a Lysandra has aura wise. You know, all that stuff I think really suits Lazarius really nicely. I'm kind of excited about this champion. This is one of the ones I'd want because I feel like that flexibility really opens up so much for you. And, you know, obviously, even if you're not competing in arena, like, he's still going to be good in a lot of other areas of the game. He'll be great in Hydra, be great in Doom Tower runs. There's a lot going on in that kit that's really nice.
Yeah, honestly, I'd be happy to pull this one too. But yeah, overall, great champion. If you do pull him again, guys, he looks really, really cool, and he's definitely one of the better mythical champions out there because most of the mythical champions are not very good. Not yet anyway. But this one is definitely up there. Yeah, thank you so much, Deadwood, for coming on today. Is there anything else you want to say?
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure, and thanks for collabing with me today. It was actually a lot of fun. We don't get to do this often enough. I guess the only other thing I'd add is, like, you were talking about how the other ones aren't that great, and I think what we're seeing here is a real synergy within the two kits that are included here. And I don't think we see that enough, but these two kits, I think, really, considering where we would want to use Lazarius, I feel like these two kits really blend well and work well in tandem. And I'm hopeful that Plarium takes note of that and, like, does this more often, because I feel like this is the way these mythical champions should be used, right? And so he's not a stronger damage dealer than the ones we have out there. He's not a better utility champion than the one we have out there, but combined with that kit gives you so much more flexibility, so many more options to be able to utilize, and, like, that to me is the quintessence of what these mythical champions should be and where they really have a role in this game.
Yeah, well said. But yeah, again, guys, if you want to check out Deadwood Jedi, make sure to check him out I'll have it in my description and the pinned comment section, so I'll drop his link to his YouTube. And again, guys, we did do two collabs on his channel, so make sure to swing by his channel, subscribe to him, show him a lot of love, and yeah, say hi.
This is the week of Smiley and Deadwood. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I will see you all in the next video.